Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so today, forget everything you think you know about, like sweet, fluffy romances. We are going deep into something much more complex, maybe even uncomfortable.
Definitely. We're tackling the whole My Beautiful Man franchise, the original drama, season 2, and the movie Eternal.
Right. And our mission here is to really unpack this thing. It's not your typical BL story at all.
No, not even close. It actively kind of pushes back against that easy fantasy. Lots of people, critics included, have called it a sinister narrative, and you can see why.
We want to pull out the core psychological stuff, the themes that really define this central relationship, and maybe figure out why this story with these characters became such a huge deal.
Exactly, because we're talking about Hira and Kiyoi. They were, deeply flawed characters. Sometimes they're cruel, sometimes you don't like them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the brilliance of it maybe is forcing you, the viewer, to sit with that discomfort, to watch their really slow, often kind of backward steps towards something stable.
It's a painful evolution. And to get it, you absolutely have to start at the beginning, their origin story.
So let's set the stage. Hira Kazunari. He's, well, he's crippled by self-doubt, isn't he?
Oh, completely. Socially invisible, has this really difficult stutter, and he genuinely, truly believes he's a nobody. Just like background static.
And then there's Kiyoi, the total opposite.
Yeah. Gorgeous, aloof, super popular, and he's got these huge dreams of making it big, becoming famous.
And he starts out as, let's be honest, a pretty standard high school bully. Lots of charisma, but definitely intimidating.
And that initial dynamic, it's deliberately messed up. Hira gets this instant, overwhelming crush. It's obsessive, really.
To the point where he's actually, like, happy to be Kiyoi's lackey, his gopher.
Almost gleefully, yeah. He accepts that role, and the whole story, the whole franchise, grows out of that really toxic foundation. It blurs the line between devotion and, well, domination.
Okay, let's dig into that high school part from the first drama. Hira starts as this anxious transfer student, right? Just wants to blend in.
Yeah, his biggest hope is to just not be noticed. But that fails spectacularly on day one.
The introduction scene. Painful, his stutter makes it drag on and everyone's staring. Instant target.
Right. He's mortified. But then Kiyoi makes his entrance.
Fashionably late, of course.
Of course. Radiating confidence, and boom! All eyes shift off Hira and onto Kiyoi.
And in Hira's mind, this isn't just some popular kid arriving late.
No, it's like divine intervention. Kiyoi is this beautiful being who literally saved him from public humiliation. That moment. That's where the worship starts. It's immediate. It's intense, almost religious.
The unattainable king dynamic is born right there.
Yeah.
But Kiyo's reaction isn't gratitude or anything like that.
Nope. It's cruelty. He picks up on Hira's intense stare, finds it gross and creepy, and the bullying starts.
Including that nickname, Stalker.
Yeah. Which sticks. And the bullying is very transactional. Run my errands, get me drinks, copy my homework, suffer for him and his popular friends.
And this is where it gets really dark psychologically. Hira doesn't just endure it.
He internalizes it. He accepts the awful treatment because for him, just being near Kiyoi, being acknowledged even negatively, is a reward. Being debased by someone so beautiful feels like a privilege.
It's not a crush. It's
right.
His whole identity becomes tied to being subservient to Kiyoi.
It's deeply unsettling, though the story does add these little moments of ambiguity, doesn't it?
Yeah, like Kiyoi sometimes protects Hira from other bullies. Not the ones in his circle, but outsiders.
Right, and those moments are so important for Hira. It's like this addictive little hit of validation. It tells him, you're mine to bully, but I protect what's mine.
It reinforces Kiyoi as this powerful, almost godlike figure, but also Hira's role as the loyal servant who has to take the bad stuff to get those rare moments of grace.
It's a really twisted dynamic, and then everything shifts. The whole power balance gets thrown off when Kiyoi faces his own failure.
The talent competition.
Yeah.
He goes for it, chasing that stardom dream.
And he bombs. Completely. Comes in dead last.
And for someone like Kiyoi, whose whole identity is built on being popular and admired,
it's devastating. He goes from top dog to total outcast overnight. His friends, who were just there for the reflected glory, ditch him immediately.
That fall from grace is crucial. Because who's left?
Only Hira, the one person who remains absolutely, unquestioningly loyal.
Which, for Hira, just confirms his entire worldview. He's the steadfast devotee to the king, even a fallen king.
And Kiyoi, stripped of everything else, kind of has to accept Hira's presence. Hira's the only constant left. But fundamentally,
the dynamic's still there. Kiyoi is still the idol, just a vulnerable one now. And Hira is still the worshiper.
Exactly. Narratively, Kiyoi had to fail, didn't he? If he'd stayed popular, he likely wouldn't have needed Hira's complicated brand of devotion. Failure forces him to actually see Hira, and it lets Hira's loyalty become something potentially lasting.
Okay, so the first season wraps up after a jump forward. They're in university. Hira's trying, sort of, to have a normal life.
Yeah, he joins a photography club, which makes sense, right? He can observe from behind a lens, and that's where Koyama comes in.
Ah, Koyama, the what-if guy.
Totally. He's the sensible choice. The anti-Kiyoi. Genuinely kind, supportive, respectful, he offers Hira a path to a, healthy relationship.
Non-toxic path.
Right. But we, the audience, we know Hira by this point. Koyama confesses his feelings, and you just know.
It's doomed. Koyama represents easy happiness, and Hira is, like, addicted to the struggle, the agony of worshipping Kiyoi.
And that addiction gets a massive jolt when Kiyoi reappears.
Right, Kiyoi is trying to make it as an actor, and he shows up unexpectedly at a play Hira's covering for the photo club.
And bang! All those years Hira spent trying to move on, gone. Instantly, the obsession is right back full force.
And Kiyoi sees Hira with Koyama.
And jealousy explodes, which is actually a really big moment for Kyo's character, isn't it? It's the first sign that he doesn't just, tolerate Hira. He sees Hira as his.
His property, almost, which leads to that big confrontation. Kiyoi basically forces Hira to choose, right then and there.
Huge pressure. Kiyoi demands total loyalty. And Hira does what Hira does.
Rejects Koyama, unleashes all that pent-up obsessive love onto Kiyoi.
And the way season 1 ends is interesting. It's debated a lot. Kiyoi finds Hira back where it all started, that high school classroom.
And he confesses. He says he loves Hira too.
But he says it while he's angry. And that anger is absolutely key to understanding everything that follows.
He's not mad that Hira loves him. He's mad about how Hira loves him.
Exactly. He's furious that Hira puts him on this pedestal, treats him like this unattainable king instead of just a person, a guy with his own insecurities. He feels like Hira's worship is actually keeping them apart, preventing real connection.
So Kiyoi is basically saying, I love you, now stop worshiping me and actually be with me.
Pretty much. It forces them into starting a relationship, but it feels so unstable because that core issue, the worshiper and the idol, it's only just been named. It hasn't been fixed at all. It's a very messy start. Which leads us right into season 2. And they've got this new setup. They're living together.
The celebrity and the civilian, cohabitating. Kiyoi's acting career is actually taking off. He's busy getting recognized.
Meanwhile, Hira's in his last year of uni, and he's completely bombing job interviews. His anxiety, the stutter, it all flares up under that kind of pressure.
And at home, Hira's taken on, all the domestic work.
Oh, completely. Cooking, cleaning, all of it. And he frames it in his head as serving the king. He calls himself an unworthy partner, a pebble next to Kiyoi.
That inferiority complex is still running the show. It's the main source of conflict in season 2, really.
Yeah, because Hira seems almost content with that setup, but Kiyoi isn't. Kiyoi wants a boyfriend, an equal, and Hira keeps trying to be his servant.
And Hira's devotion is still extreme, which gives us the whole suspicious kun thing.
Ah, yes, suspicious kun.
Yeah.
Hira's showing up at Kiyoi's events in these ridiculous disguises, hiding in the fan club, taking photos. His dedication is just off the charts.
But what's interesting is how Kiyoi starts to react to it. He's growing, slowly.
He is. We see him actually defend suspicious kun to his colleagues, even his agency CEO. It's risky for his career. It shows he's starting to value Hira's presence, even the weird parts, over his professional image. That's a huge change from high school.
He doesn't want Hira to stop watching him, maybe. He just wants him to watch as a lover, too.
Something like that. And Kiyoi's whole character arc in season 2 is fascinating. He's learning how to be in a relationship. He's definitely less antagonistic.
Still calls him creepy or disgusting sometimes, though, when he gets flustered.
Old habits die hard, but the hostility is way down, and the big shift is the language he uses.
My man.
Exactly. He starts calling Hira my man, and it's often when he's feeling protective or proud. It signals that shift from seeing Hira as a lackey to seeing him as a partner.
We see that pride really clearly at that industry party, don't we? Hira is terrified to be there, but Kiyoi brings him anyway.
Yeah, and he tells him, I wanted to show off how cool my man was. He's actually flaunting Hira, trying to integrate him into his world, even if Hira would rather stay hidden.
That's a big step towards validation. And then there's that domestic scene. The hot pot.
Oh, the hot pot scene. It seems small, but it's huge. Kiyoi decides he's going to cook for Hira. And he struggles, he finds it difficult.
And through that, he gets it. He understands how much work Hira actually puts into their home life.
Right. He gets this newfound appreciation for Hira's efforts. He sees the labor involved in the comfort he usually just takes for granted. It helps him see Hira as an equal contributor, not just someone who serves him.
But the core problem, it's still there. Kiyoi gets really frustrated because Hira still keeps him at arm's length emotionally.
Yeah, Hira won't let him fully in. Like, refusing to let Kiyoi meet his parents, he maintains this distance.
Which leads Kiyoi to ask that brutal question. So you prefer unrequited love, right?
Ooh, yeah, that just cuts right to the heart of it. Hira feels safer worshiping from afar than dealing with the vulnerability of actual mutual love. Kiyoi sees him pushing him away, keeping him as the untouchable king.
And all that frustration builds up to the defining moment, maybe of the whole series. Kiyoi looks him right in the eye.
And says, "Don't look up at me, but face me."
Goosebumps. That one line, it's everything.
It is. It's the demand for equality. For Hira to ditch the crippling self-doubt, stand next to him, and be in this relationship with mutual respect. It's the kick Hira needs to finally get serious about his photography, to try and become someone who can stand beside Kiyoi as an equal.
Now, before we jump to the movie, we got to talk about Koyama in Season 2. He doesn't just disappear after being rejected.
No, he sticks around as Hira's friend, which creates this amazing simmering tension with Kiyoi.
It's hilarious, actually. Koyama is this perfect foil. He's supposed to be the stable one, but around Kiyoi, he turns into this passive-aggressive menace.
Totally. The critique called it spectacular bitchiness, which is perfect. He's perfectly nice to Hira, but the second Kiyo's around, the claws come out.
He's constantly implying Kiyoi is lazy, a freeloader, can't cook. Basically totally unworthy of Hira.
It flips the usual rival trope. He's kind, but he's also fiercely protective of his claim on Hira, even platonically.
And he definitely gives off those homewrecker vibes, as the notes say, anytime Hira's down.
Koyama's right there. Like when Hira loses that photo contest, Koyama swoops in, trying to comfort him, basically saying, "I told you so and I treat you better." Kiyoi has to constantly fend him off. It adds this great layer of comedic conflict.
Okay, on to the movie. Eternal. This is where they really test if this relationship can actually last, right? Especially with fame and careers in the mix.
Exactly. Hira's now working as an assistant for Noguchi, this really famous kind of out-there photographer. He's trying to learn the ropes.
And Hira has this goal, the Nomura Ihei Award.
Yeah.
But it's not just for himself.
No, it's tied directly to Kiyoi. He wants to win it to close the disparity, as he sees it, between them. He thinks professional success is the only way he can be worthy.
But that path hits a snag pretty quickly. Noguchi, his mentor, kind of laughs off his ambition.
Yeah, treats it like a kid's dream. And for Hira, with his already shaky confidence,
It shatters him. He stops taking pictures. He completely regresses.
back to square one. Someone like me shouldn't even want to photograph him. He retreats into just being the observer again, thinking he's not allowed to aspire to be Kiyoi's equal.
But Noguchi's role is more complicated than just being dismissive, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Despite his massive ego, he calls himself the god of photography. He does see something in Hira. He gives him a camera, tells him to build a portfolio.
And he drops that really insightful line about confidence.
Yeah, having too much or too little confidence are both signs of a damaged self-consciousness. He sees his own arrogance and Hira's crippling insecurity as two sides of the same coin. Both are ways of avoiding genuine vulnerability and connection. It's a really sharp observation.
So while Hira's dealing with that, they get hit with a domestic crisis. They have to move out.
Right, the owner, Kiyoi's cousin, needs the place back. And Hira's immediate thought,
Should break up, basically. Or at least live separately. He assumes he shouldn't burden Kiyoi. Classic Hira's inferiority.
but Kiyoi shuts that down immediately. He insists they find a new place together. That's huge. It shows real, long-term commitment.
It's not just casual cohabitating anymore. They're planning a future, dealing with leases, finances.
Yeah.
As a unit. Kiyoi's even making sure the new place works for Hira's commute.
It's a massive step. And then there's that little moment when they're looking for apartments.
The realtor mentioning it's hard because they're not married.
Yeah, it's brief, but it grounds things. A subtle nod to the real-world difficulties same-sex couples face with things like housing in Japan. It adds this layer of reality to their intense emotional story.
And speaking of intense, the bath scene.
Ah, yes, the bath scene. It's incredibly effective, really erotic, but without being explicit at all.
It's all about the connection, the tenderness. Kiyoi blushing, Hira's gentle kisses. The water overflowing.
That overflowing water feels so symbolic, right? Like their passion, their commitment finally breaking through Hira's internal dams. And Kiyoi saying a bathtub is essential for the new place, it highlights how important that intimate private space has become for them.
But the movie's central theme, eternal or temporary love, gets put under serious pressure. Kiyoi starts getting paranoid.
Yeah, because Hira, lost in his inferiority spiral, puts up those emotional walls again, and Kiyoi reads that distance as Hira's love fading, maybe Hira giving up on them.
And that fear gets cranked up by what's happening with Anna, his co-star.
Right, Anna gets caught in this huge public scandal when her secret relationship is exposed. It really drives home for Kiyoi how quickly fame can disappear, how fragile it all is.
And Anna's first instinct is to protect her career, even if it means sacrificing her relationship. Kiyoi sees this and thinks maybe that's the reality for people like us.
But he also sees Anna looking kind of wistfully at his and Hira's simple domestic life. Like she recognizes the value in what they have, this quiet stability.
And Anna's story becomes a lesson for Kiyoi, ultimately.
It does. She changes her mind, goes public with her relationship, and actually wins back public support. It proves to Kiyoi that maybe love and fame can coexist if you fight for it, if you're authentic. It reinforces that his relationship with Hira is worth protecting, even when it's hard.
Okay, so Kiyoi's dealing with the pressures of fame, and then the movie throws in another threat, Shitama.
Right, Anna's obsessive fan, the guy who thinks he has some kind of right to control her love life and decides to, take matters into his own hands by attacking Kiyoi.
Shitama is basically Hira's dark reflection, isn't he?
Absolutely. He's obsession without the love, without the respect. He represents where Hira's devotion could have gone if it hadn't deepened beyond just surface-level worship. It forces you to confront the potentially toxic roots of Hira's feelings.
But the story is careful to show the difference. Shitama wants to control Anna's image for his own fantasy. His love is about possession.
Whereas Hira, even at his most obsessive, fundamentally respects Kiyoi's autonomy. He worships Kiyoi's existence, but he doesn't try to control it. It's a crucial difference. Real love respects the other person's independence, even if Hira struggles to respect his own.
And we see Hira prove that love isn't just passive worship in the climax. The fight scene.
Oh yeah, the over-the-top brawl. Hira, who's usually so timid, just transforms. He becomes this fierce protector, putting himself in danger to save Kiyoi.
That act of selflessness is the final proof, isn't it? It shows his love isn't just about admiring an idol, and about protecting the actual vulnerable person.
And Kiyoi sees that. He sees Hira willing to fight for him, and maybe finally understands that Hira loves all of him, the star and the person. The king realizes his worshiper is also his guardian.
In that moment, that fight seems to finally break through Hira's own barriers.
Yes. Kiyoi sees it too, and encourages him right then. Take it more beautifully than Noguchi. Take my picture.
And Hira does. He picks up the camera, photographs Kiyoi, and has this realization.
He realizes Noguchi might be technically brilliant, but he doesn't have the love. He can't capture Kiyoi's true essence, his soul, the way Hira can. Hira's love gives him a unique perspective, a deeper sight.
That's his validation. Not an award, but that internal understanding. He gains real confidence. He realizes he is worthy. Not because of external achievements, but because of the depth of his connection to Kiyoi.
And that journey, that growth, brings us to the end. The symbolic wedding. Even then, Kiyoi still has these little flickers of doubt about forever. Looks fade, fame is fickle.
So to fight that anxiety, they go back to the high school classroom where it all began.
The symbolism is so strong. Hira's in a suit, looking mature, professional almost. Kiyoi's outfit is described as looking like, well, almost like a wedding gown.
They're rewriting their beginning, turning that painful space into the site of their commitment.
And they exchange these vows, basically. We'll be together forever, stay by my side for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's their private, unofficial marriage ceremony, declaring their love eternal regardless of what the world throws at them.
And Hira gives us the final line, the meaning of the title, looking at Kiyoi.
No matter what happens, Kiyoi is more beautiful than anyone else.
It's not about his looks, is it?
Not just. It's about the beauty of Kiyoi in Hira's eyes. A beauty that has endured everything, the cruelty, the distance, the fame, the doubt. It's the resilience of that feeling, now mutual, that is eternally beautiful. The love itself is the beautiful man.
Wow. Okay, so we've traced it all. From that incredibly messed up high school dynamic.
The bully and the lackey, yeah.
All the way to this committed, supportive, still kind of complicated, but definitely mutual partnership. It really is an amazing character study. Finds beauty in the flaws, in the messiness.
I think what makes it work so well is how it uses all those external things. Koyama, Noguchi, Anna's scandal, Shitama not just as plot points, but as things that force Hira and Kiyoi to actually grow. Painfully, usually, but they do grow.
By the end, Hira has found some real self-worth, finally. And Kiyoi seems to have overcome his deepest fears about love being temporary. They've gone from that vertical king and worshipper setup
To facing each other, horizontally, as equals, finally committed.
The movie really pushes that question of longevity, of eternal love.
Yeah.
And the answer seems to be, it's not about being perfect people in perfect circumstances.
No, it's about the work. It's about constantly choosing to maintain respect, to stay committed, even when everything, fame, self-doubt, society is trying to pull you apart.
So thinking about that journey, we want to leave you, the listener, with something to chew on. Now that Hira and Kiyoi are finally facing each other as equals, what do you think is the absolute strongest thing holding their eternal love together?
Is it Hira's unwavering devotion, that love that managed to become more than just worship? Or is it Kiyoi's relentless demand for Hira to be better, his belief deep down that Hira could be worthy, that ultimately pushed them both to this point? What's the real anchor now?